All right. Hey guys, thanks for hopping on our weekly Wednesday TLC Emerald call. I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Cathy today. Cathy is a new one-star diamond coach on our team. She has been super consistent in this business for so long, and it's really starting to make huge strides in her business. She is a Success Club All-Star legend. She is, like I said, a new one-star diamond coach as of December in the business and working her way towards two-star now. Cathy is currently on vacation in Punta Cana, so it is okay to be jealous and be very mad at her right now. But I'm excited for her to share her story with you guys of why she became a coach, why, when kind of she had the aha moment in building her business that this could be something like huge and real, and how she's built to where she is today and where she's headed in the future. So, Cathy, I will let you take it over.
All right, so I'm working from my phone, so it takes me a second to figure out where the unmute is. But hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on the call. I'm super excited to do this. And so a little bit about me. I've been coaching for a little over 4 years. I had no intentions of coaching. I started like random Instagram Sunday night feed where I was feeling crappy about myself and kind of the routine I was in with my life at that point in time. I have 3 kids. I work full time, still do today, but I was in this vicious cycle of like a negative mindset. And I always like to say I thought I was into health and fitness, but I was really just into being the cardio queen. And so I was really had some issues with nutrition and an emotional stress eater big time. And I would like be spot on Monday through Friday. Come Saturday and Sunday, the wheels would fall off and I would rinse and repeat all week after week. So I really got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And this Instagram post from my coach at the time just grabbed my attention. I literally thought about it for 20 minutes. I said, I'll figure out how to pay for this and I'm going to do it. So literally a week within starting, like in a week, I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the groups, the support, the friendships I was making from people I didn't even know. The Shakeology was helping with my cravings. It was helping with some of the digestive issues I've had since I was 14. And it really just was starting to, I was starting to feel better inside and outside. And I'm one of those people that my coach didn't ask me to become a coach. I reached out to her and I'm like, I don't know what this coaching gig entails, but I think that I need to do this. And I signed up and I didn't tell my husband, which I didn't even tell him about the challenge pack purchase. And so I signed up and I told him, by the way, I signed up to be a coach. And he's like, oh, okay, what's that? So I got into it thinking one thing, that if I could just help people feel as good as I felt. I thought very small scale for a long time. I just want to hit Success Club and earn some cool prizes and pay for my products. That was literally all I wanted to do, because after all, I was a mom and I work full time, and who has time for a business, right? And that's, I think the big question we get a lot from people is, how do you do this in your time? And my question back is, how do you not do this? And when it's changed your life so much, to be that mom that's not feeling so rushed and so busy and so impatient, and actually building in taking time for yourself. I think as a mom, this business creates that accountability for me that I think a lot of people lack. And just having the ability to know that I'm going to work on myself, and me working on me is in turn going to be better for my family, has been really the push every single day. That's my why behind what I do. Obviously I'm on vacation, so I'm fitting my business into wherever I'm at. For real, I got my workout in when it was dark this morning. I've been talking to people about coaching. It just goes where I go. And I think over time, that consistency is what has helped me build to where I am today. And it's so easy, I think, to get caught in that comparison game of, well, you've been a coach for 4 years. You should probably be farther along than you are now. And what I think that all has to do with is mindset. And I think that you get to decide the trajectory of how bad you want this. And that really dawned on me when I was working towards One Star, like pushing the end of last year. And I finally feel like the light bulb went off to be like, oh my gosh, like if I just kept doing this, what could happen? Like I'm in control of this, not anybody else, not if my schedule allows, not when life slows down. Because I think a lot of times, it's so easy to use that excuse that, well, my kids are busy and I'm running my kids here and there, and they have this and they have that, and my work is busy, and those things are always going to be there. And I think that if you just build, and I always build my business in the mom cracks, I call it the mom cracks, because it literally is like, I get up earlier than the people in my house to work on me. Like literally that first hour and a half is my own workout, affirmations, journaling, setting my schedule for the day, and figuring, okay, I have my business activity tracker. What activities can I do right now? So I will do connections on Instagram and follow up with people who are watching my story before I even press play on my workout. Like that's just part of my day. I do my workout, and then I work another section of my business and my lunch break. I have an hour, and I have errands to run just like everybody else. I have groceries to get, I have prescriptions to get filled. I have all of that good stuff. I don't have anybody to do that for me. So I fit another notch into that. And the thing about it is when you have that consistency, like it's just an automatic, just like taking a shower, just like having that cup of coffee. I really feel like if you just develop the mindset that it's a non-negotiable, just like your own workout is a non-negotiable, your connections are a non-negotiable, your follow-ups are a non-negotiable. And if you get in that pattern of doing that, that's what makes it easier for me to knock this out. Like last night, I was talking to Leslie at like 9:30. I'm all screwed up on time because I went from Central, and now I'm like, it's after 1:00 here. So it's like, I'm totally screwy on time. But I sat here, I went to supper with everybody, and I sat here and I'm like, I just hammered out my power hour right before bed. And it felt really good to do that. But that consistency is what's going to get you things, not the stop start, when I feel like it, right? It's just like a workout. You're never going to feel like doing some of the things that you need to do. And again, like when I went for One Star, it really was kind of an aha, like, okay, you keep your foot, like you get to decide if that gas pedal, how far you push that down, right? And I think a lot of times we just let our own fear of failure, our own fear of, but what if I become successful? What if I can do this? And I think that's what's really kept me up until this point kind of reserved. Like, what am I going to do if I hit One Star? Like, what am I going to do with that? Because we have these big dreams and big, goals. And I think it's changed so much for me in that 4 years. I went from like, I downplayed it all the time, you guys. I was always like, oh, I'm just a hobby coach. Like, this is just my side gig. And I like hate that word now. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I live to do this. I love to do this. And I don't think, and it doesn't matter to me that, yep, I'm still working full time. That's going to look different for everybody. And I think that that's okay. But the time will come. I think when you have that seed planted and you know where your vision goes, like, it's going to happen. It's just, and everybody's timetable looks different. So that consistency, working those cracks in your day, schedule's different all the time. So I work another section at night, depending on my kids' schedules, my husband's schedule. And sometimes that's more, it looks more balanced than not. Like some weekends I do more work on my business than I do during the week. So that's probably atypical, but again, it's developing those consistent habits over time that are going to help you get to where you want to go. So 4 years later, like, I used to be the super shy girl who just wanted to go along with the flow. I was a people pleaser. Like, I wanted people to like me, and I would go to any length. I would cut my hair a certain way. I would dress a certain way. I would go to parties I didn't give two craps about, like, at the time, just to fit in with people. And now it's like, like, just, it's so freeing to, like, this business has allowed me to just be myself. Like, and whatever that looks like, it's kind of like, I'm comfortable with me being me. And I think that has helped me to grow my business too. Just that level of confidence and people seeing that, and being able to share some of the parts of our story that are not always so glamorous and glorious, you know, kind of the behind the scenes stuff that people can relate to. Has just been, it's just fun, and it's just fun. And I don't look at this at like work at all. Like we were just talking to some people, we were eating lunch, and they're like, well, what are you doing this afternoon? And I was like, oh, my wife has a call. And they kind of look like, a call, like what, a call? And I'm like, yeah, it's just what I do, you know? So people ask questions all the time. I'm like, it just becomes it's just part of me. And I think that if you have the attitude that you can do anything that you put your mind to, and really like having a vision for things, writing things down. I'm a huge pen and paper person. So when I was plotting for this 1-star, like it was like a chess game for me. Like I literally like had it all out on a whiteboard, and I'm like, okay, this piece has to go here. This piece has to go here. And now as I build for 2-star, I'm like, how do I get that? And that visual really helps keep me centered, rather than just kind of like, okay, I know I need coaches, you know? So if you really want to work towards a goal, really having a plan of action. And I really talk with my coaches too about reverse engineering that. Like, how do you get to that point? So just backing up. So, okay, so if that means I need this many coaches, then every week I need to be, you know, signing this many coaches, which means I need to have this many conversations. So you can really backpedal it to know what activities you need to be doing with that business activity tracker. So it might not be 3 people. It might not be 3 connections, 3 invites. You may have to 10x that, which, by the way, I'm reading the 10x rule right now. It's propped up. It is helping prop up my phone for this call with a beach towel. So I think that's just very important to just always have that visual right there. And I look at that every single day. Like that is just part of, like, I open up my planner, and that's what it sits right there. So it is always in my field of sight. And it's not something, like I said, that I just push off and be like, oh, when I get back from New Leader Conference on Monday, then I'll worry about it. No, I'm worrying about it now. And I think just having that determination and knowing where you want to go and knowing what you need to do to get there. Sure, I would love to be at the pool right now. I'll go to the pool when I'm done with this call. You know, just to knowing that doing the things you need to do to get where you want to go, even on days you don't feel like it.
That's definitely the part of being a business owner, right? Showing up to do the things you have to do, even if you could be at the pool. But it's kind of nice to have that flexibility that you could go sit at the pool and work too.
Definitely.
So you touched on it a little bit, the fact that you work full time. And then have grown this business to, you know, a star diamond while still working full time. Do you have any like best practices or best tips on, you know, fitting in the most? I know you mentioned you wake up earlier, you get some in at lunch, you get some in at night. But is there anything you would tell someone who's kind of letting their full-time job stand in the way from them really going all after this?
I think the biggest thing is that consistency factor. Just, you know, it is so easy to let life get in the way, right? And let life be like, oh, my kid was sick, so I couldn't do my business activity tracker today. When you want something bad enough, and I've you know, my husband and I have talked about this too. It's like it just becomes so automatic. I think like the mindset piece and doing personal development, like that is a non-negotiable for me, and that has been really pivotal. I think that's super important. So like no matter what, like you find a way. Like you find a way to multitask. You listen to a podcast while you're cleaning your house, or like I have a 15-minute commute to my job. I don't even listen to the radio. Like it is a podcast. It is something when I'm getting ready, when I'm in the shower. Like it is just something that is not off the plate for me, no matter what happens. Yes. And it comes down to, if you want it bad enough and if it's important enough to you, you're going to find a way to do it. And I really talk to my coaches a lot about, like, it's just like parenting, right? There's days you don't want to be a parent. and there's days you have to do stuff that's not so fun as a parent, right? Like you just can't be like, oh, my kid's being naughty today, so I'm just not going to deal with you. Like, no, you still have to deal with that stuff. And I really try to treat that same mentality about the business. Like there are days where I come home and granted, studies have shown, like I've been doing Mel Robbins' mindset reset, and she says those first 2 to 3 hours in the morning are like the most crucial for you. And that's when your brain is functioning the best. So is it always conducive for me to get up at 4:30 a.m.? Not really. But I also know that's my best time of day to do the things I need to do. Like I tell my team, my brain is mush. I can't do like nighttime calls and them expect me to like give them any like valuable information because my brain's fried by the end of the day. I just am a better morning person to work. So I would really, if those things are hard for you, like eat that frog, do that stuff right away in the morning and fit it in like I do, like even if you can knock out two of your 4 activities for the day, then you're at least that much ahead. You say, oh, I have to do this today. And that's where having a success partner, I think, helps too. And Caitlin and I are always like, where are you at? Where are you at? Did you do this? Like last week, I will admit, like I was having a hard time following up with people about the coaching opportunity. I'm like, that's it. I'm knocking out 50 tonight. And I just like I knew I needed to do it. And sometimes I just need that push from somebody. I need that accountability piece to be like, hey, did you do that today? So I'm like, okay, I said I was going to do it. I have to do it. So even if you get up in the morning and you're like, okay, today I need to make sure I follow up with 5 people. And then do that. So if you don't have a success partner, I really, really encourage you to get one. And find somebody that meshes with you, somebody else that's a working mom or somebody that deals with some of the things that you struggle with that you feel can get in the way of you building your business. I have a super supportive husband too. He's like, if you need to work, that's fine. I'll go take the kids and I'll do whatever, he's very good about that. And I get diligent about my time too. Because really, if you work at night, you get home at night and you're like, oh, okay, there's homework, there's this, you're like, all those excuses can flood in again. What I've been doing is setting a timer. And this helps too so I'm being a good mom and not being so swallowed up by messages. So I set a timer for 30 minutes. I'm like, when the timer's done, mom's done working, then we're going to go play a game of cards, or then we're going to, then we're going to do our different nightly activities. So then I know because of our phones, we can just get like where people think they have to be buried into them. And you don't. If you're diligent with your time, you're like, okay, I've got 30 minutes. And it's amazing when you tell yourself you have 30 minutes to get those invites done, like how much you can crank them out. Like I'm speed queen when it comes to that. So, I really think setting that timer on your phone and be like, when it's done, it's done. And that's where, again, I save a lot of my bigger tasks and not really the income producing activities of your business for the weekend. So then I can kind of, dilly dally with graphics and pick monkey and all that stuff on the weekends when I have a little bit more time. But again, I limit it to like, okay, I'm going to do this chunk of time for work and then it's done. So I really think those things are helpful in making sure that you don't get lost in the shuffle in the busyness of life, but yet you can continue to create that consistency because I've probably said it 3 times already, but consistency is what's going to get you where you need to go.
Okay, so I have a question. Where are you building the majority of your business? I know you use Instagram, but do you still use Facebook? Do you use them both? How does that kind of play out for you in your business?
I use both. However, Instagram is like where it's at right now for me, especially. I'm growing a lot there and I'm getting a lot more connections and reaching out on that avenue. Yeah, I still post to like, I was one of those girls who was posting 3 times a day on both platforms, and have really just since went down to 1 time in the last 2 weeks. And I've seen a lot of growth on my Instagram since that. So, just scaling back and having one really good quality post every single day, but like hitting it out of the park with your stories all day long, like all aspects of your life. But there again, lately my Facebook page has been fine too. So it just, there appears to be, to me, more ebbs and flows and either hot, cold with Facebook, whereas Instagram seems to be pretty hot all the time. So I am generating a lot of conversations and getting a lot of people on my team from that platform right now.
Okay, awesome. I love that. That was a really good tip. So Mandy is wondering if you schedule posts.
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you do that just for your challenge groups or onto social too, or?
For everything. And here's a tip that helps me as a working mom who doesn't want to worry about posting in her challenge groups every single night. I schedule them out every single week. So on Sundays, I do a poll in my challenge groups to check in. And I will schedule that on Sunday for the whole entire week for every group. I schedule. Still there? I'm getting some feedback somewhere.
Sorry.
Okay. That's
You're
okay.
good.
What was I saying? I schedule everything out. I schedule them out on my Facebook page too. And I actually, like I said, I'm a pen and paper person, huge. So I literally, I will get, here's my Transformers for today. I literally take out a sheet of paper and I write Monday through Sunday. And I, as I'm thinking, because again, when it comes to posting and wanting quality posts, I have to be in a mode, right? When I've got thoughts flowing and things flowing that I want to talk about in social media, I literally just write a list. And so I kind of have an.
Mom, you gotta stop touching.
Dude, what is? It's okay. Am I echoing?
You're good. It's not you, Cathy.
Okay. Is it your ice storm?
No, I think someone's accidentally getting unmuted.
Gotcha. I will just write Monday through Sunday and I will kind of just write down post ideas. So especially this week when we're traveling and there's things going on, I'm not as focused as I usually am because there's other things going on, but I at least have an idea of okay, I know I'm going to post this day. So I always kind of have a running list in my mind about the things that I want to talk about. And I think that helps too, because a lot of times people are like, how do I have to post. I didn't post yet today. I'm not one of those girls that works well on the fly like that and still going to have quality posting that's going to get a lot of feedback or a lot of traction on social media. So I really try to plan that stuff out.
Okay. That definitely helps. Have you always used a timer? Someone was asking if you always use a timer in terms of making sure you are productive.
I haven't. I didn't up until probably I have off and on and I've gotten away from it, but I've noticed lately, I can get sucked into things, especially when I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to make sure I'm doing, I get really excited about working on things and I just want to keep going. And then I have to think, okay, it's during the week. The schedule is crazy. I need to get some family time in. So I really have started reincorporating that because I felt myself slipping into some old habits of I could sit there and work all night long. And our household's busy. There's just always lots of activity. So it's very hard for me. I'm call squirrel all the time because I could get so easily distracted that I have to have that timer in order to be the most conscientious of my time and use that time diligently to get done what I need to get done as far as those income producing activities. And then, like I said, I kind of use a laundry list. I'll use another sticky note to put okay, weekend, I need to work on PicMonkey graphics. I need to do this, those types of things. And I kind of push those things to the back burner weekend, so to speak, so that I'm really focusing on the income producing activities consistently every day throughout the week.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge note is those are your income producing activities. Those are your business activity tracker activities, not just scrolling the team page or the feed or whatever. Because I know all of a sudden you can just like a half an hour has gone by and you didn't do anything.
Correct. Yep. And I do that with videos and stuff too, because there's so much you can learn, like from the Beachbody Champs page, National Wake Up Call, all of that stuff. So if I see something like, oh, I really want to watch that, I'll write that down too. And then I'll do that while I'm, cleaning or whatever at home on the weekend too, to catch up on.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so last question for you is kind of just how you're connecting, how you're inviting, and how you're following up on social media. I know you use a lot of Instagram, so how often you're connecting or how many connections you're sending a day, invites, follow-ups, and what you use to track that.
Well, again, I'm a pen and paper person. I do use Google Streak to some extent. However, I really went back to pen and paper lately because I've kind of developed this thought process about, like, I was doing a lot of like connect, invite, coaching, like that. I would put those into 3 categories. And I just kind of found like I wasn't as genuine or as taking as much time as I wanted to like establish a relationship with the persons I was connecting with. So I really just like stopped that at all. And I just like, it's just all connecting. So I will connect with new people. I send them kind of a like, hey, here's a little about me message. And then if they respond to that, then I flag them in my Instagram, or I write them down if they're on a different platform, if they're on Facebook. And then I go back and I just really kind of work at growing that relationship. So maybe 3 days later, whenever I feel like our relationship's at a point where like, oh, I can interject this, or it just naturally leads to the conversation, is when I do the invite. So I have changed that up a bit as of late. And I really feel like that's just a lot better to really develop that relationship with people. I think that, when you get so busy and when you are working and you have kids, you really want to be careful that you're not just going through the motions when it comes to those activities. And I feel like that can be a stopping point for people, or can halt you from growing your business if you're not being very genuine in establishing those relationships. And I will be completely 100% transparent. Like, that used to be me. I'm like, just get it done just to get it done. And I missed the piece that I really liked about the business, was the fact that I could relate to these people. We could have a genuine friendship. So I'm really just kind of focusing on that connection and building that trust, building that relationship. So then they start watching my stories religiously. That tells me they're still interested. So that's when I'm popping in those invites for people, and getting people signed up that way. And I have been I also switched up how I sign people up, and do that more so with the discount right off the bat. And I have not had a lot of resistance to that. So that appears to be working rather well too.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I'll wait a second in case anyone else has another question, but it's 12:30. We've already hit half an hour. I feel like these calls fly by. But I'll let you, get to the pool and enjoy the ocean. All right. Well, thank you for being on. Thank you guys for being here. I will get this recording up on YouTube. Enjoy the rest of your trip, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a great day, everyone.